All right. So, again, appreciate everybody being on here tonight. We got 25 people. It's a good group. Um, so it's, this is a great opportunity here. So appreciate you guys being on, taking the time to at least take a look at what we're doing. So we've got, what we'll do is I'm going to play a 5-minute video that's going to talk about what this opportunity is, what you're here to actually see. And then at the end, after the video, we'll have 2 speakers that will talk about kind of the business in general and why they got into business in particular. So again, appreciate your time. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to mute everybody here so we don't have a bunch of distractions in the background. And we will get going here. So I'm going to share my screen. And again, it's about 5-minute video here.
Time is money. So on behalf of the person who invited you to review this video, thank you for investing 5 minutes with us. Do you know anyone who pays a utility bill? Of course you do. But do you know anyone who gets their electric or natural gas service for free? It may sound too good to be true, and it would be, if not for the recent government-mandated deregulation of energy.
Since deregulation, customers in Maryland and D.C. can now shop around for their power provider.
Just like shopping for a new car, Pennsylvania residents can now shop for the best prices on electricity.
That reminds me a lot of the breakup of the phone company in the 80s, where there was one provider and you were locked into that provider, and then you had a choice to go to whomever you wanted to. And that's exactly what we have now.
The regulation transformed telecom 25 years ago. The same process is happening on a much larger scale with energy today. Many refer to it as the greatest shift of wealth in American history, and one company is leading the way.
Ambit Energy says it'll be providing gas and electricity to customers.
Ambit Energy began serving customers in the NYSEG market back in April, and since then, customers in the southern tier say that switching has saved them a lot of money.
Ambit Energy has exploded onto the scene of this $500 billion wealth transfer by providing over-the-top value. And we want you to have the inside track on 3 very powerful options available with our company. You can choose Ambit as your new energy supplier and join over 1 million happy customers. There's 0 cost to switch. The process takes less than 5 minutes, and nothing changes about your service except the amount you pay.
I was a little worried at the beginning, a little apprehensive. Said, geez, I don't know if I want to mess with the utility company, I was thinking, man, shut me off.
Despite that fear, Darpino switched anyway, saying he wanted to help a friend who was offering the service. He says nothing changed about how he received his power until he opened his mail.
Got my bill this last month and looked at it. I'd saved about $68.
The backbone of our business and the reason we established such a solid reputation in the marketplace is the value we deliver, but the reasons you're here and the reasons we have grown faster than any company in our industry is because Ambit have created an extremely unique and powerful business model, which brings us to the second option.
What if we could eliminate your utility bill entirely? It's no gimmick. Simply share the value of being an Ambit customer with a handful of friends. Once qualified, you'll see a credit on your bill equal to the average usage of your referrals. This free energy credit continues month after month after month. If we have your attention with the kind of value offered thus far, you may also like to know Ambit is paying people like clockwork to spread the word. And we're not talking about nickels and dimes.
By joining as an Ambit consultant and gathering just 15 customers, you'll earn hundreds of dollars in bonuses and be qualified for a free energy program you just learned about. Not about place to start, but Ambit Energy is a franchise-like business allowing you to expand the distribution by sponsoring other consultants who also have the same opportunity. This gives you the leverage of a business that can grow beyond your own limitations of time and effort.
Just how powerful can leverage be? Let's say you get started with Ambit and expand your business by sponsoring 3 consultants who each gather just 3 customers. And every consultant in turn does exactly the same thing. Project that duplication through the 7 levels of Ambit's compensation, and you'd have a leverage of over 3,000 consultants, each gathering just 3 customers. for a total of nearly 10,000 customers. Multiply that by a residual commission that assumes minimal customer usage, and the result is a life-changing residual income paid out on the 15th of every month. And this is just one aspect of the compensation plan.
Ambit Energy opened their doors in 2006. By 2010, they hit #1 in Inc. 500. Today, with over 1 million customers generating in excess of $1 billion of annual revenue, the business model you see here has a track record of proven success on a very large scale. But I know, when you see a figure this big, it sounds far-fetched. Most people don't have a single dollar of residual income. But because of Ambit, in less than 5 years, I started cashing a monthly residual check exceeding what took my father 40 years to build with his insurance agency.
Every day, every week, every month that goes by, the massive shift of wealth taking place with energy deregulation goes on with or without any of us. Thank you for the past few minutes of your time. Click below for immediate access to full details and documentation on all 3 options we just shared. Not getting this information could be the greatest financial mistake of your life.
All right. So again, appreciate the time here. I want to go ahead now and I'm going to introduce our next speaker, and that's going to be a good mentor of mine and also a senior consultant in our business and growing into a strong leader, and that is senior consultant Tom Dolly.
Thanks, Frank. Well, hey, thanks everybody for getting on the call. I hope you've seen the value in the video that we watched, and I hope you're as excited as I am right now by looking at it. I can tell you up front, you know, when I first looked at it, I said no. I must have said no 2 or 3 times, and it wasn't until I got on a 3-way call with Olympic coach Terry Steiner, and he said 3 things that impressed me. He said you'd be able to make a personal income, because I thought it was just going to be about raising money for a wrestling club when our head coach brought it to to a meeting to talk to us about it. And so when I said, oh, I can make some money, and then he said it's willable, sellable, transferable. Oh, I can will it to my grandkids. And then he said the 3rd thing was, hey, I wouldn't do anything that would tarnish my father's name. And he and his brother were national champions at Iowa, and they're known all around the world. He's an Olympic coach out in Colorado Springs, and his brother's the head wrestling coach at Fresno State University. And I'm like, I respected that. That was great. I turned around and told my wife, go get the bill. We're going to switch our service. He says, we've been married for 36 years. You've never seen a bill. You wouldn't even know what to do with a gas bill. And I said, you know what? I trust Terry Steiner. Go get the bill. And it took us 2 minutes to switch it over. And we've been saving money. We've gotten a gas credit you heard about. Within a short amount of time, our gas has been free. And we make residual income. It keeps getting bigger. And we actually paid for the business within about 2 weeks. We had to the whole year paid for, get our investment back. I'm not going to go on any much further about how excited I am, but I am excited about one more thing I've got to tell you. Nobody else on this meeting knows about it, and that's I talked to one of my downline consultants tonight. He's an Amishman, and he signed up his factory. He's got a wood shop, and he's got the free gas credit, right? His gas bill, he got his bill today. He's got his Ambit check today. His gas bill was $948. Folks, it was free. $948.58 was what the Ambit check was to him. Completely free, guys. He called me so excited to tell me about that. So I'm not going to go on any more about myself. The next guy I'm going to introduce here has been in the business about 11 years. He's a national consultant. He's in the Comic Club. He's a Yellow Jacket wearer. That means that he's reached the 1 million status. He's been a Crystal Sphere Award winner. You can catch him, I think if I'm right here, every Sunday night at 8:30 on the EC Factory Business Builder Call. And that's national consultant Kirk Horan. Go ahead, Kirk.
Thanks, Tom. Can everybody hear me all right? All right, how you guys doing? I'm going to share a little bit of my background, and then I'll kind of tie everything that you saw together. And if you're a guest on here, this is a great crowd of people that are watching this thing right now. So my background is I live here in upstate New York, where I was born and raised, the son of 2 blue-collar workers. My mom took care of people with disabilities. My dad was a truck driver, raising 4 boys in a single wide trailer in the country. And, I joke, I'm pretty sure we were poor, but we didn't feel that way. We had good upbringing. And, my dad told me and my 3 brothers, whatever you do, don't become truck drivers. And all 4 of us became truck drivers because I guess you do what you know. And I'd be driving down the highway saying to myself, this is not what I was put on this planet to do. My dream was always to be a firefighter, and it became a reality in 1996. I got hired as a career fireman, and believe it or not, leaving trucking to be a firefighter, I took a $20,000 per year pay cut. So I did what a lot of firefighters do. I threw on a tool belt, called myself a contractor, and started helping the other guys, learning as I went. And somewhere along the way, we got primarily focused on roofing. And we were making good money. And I did what a lot of young people do. I bought a new truck, snowmobiles, ATVs, jet skis, motorcycle, camper. I had all the toys. And I always say it wasn't because I was buying them outright. It was because I had good credit. And, when you're trading your time for money, generally that's how you buy things. You take out loans because you don't get paid enough to pay cash for everything. And that was definitely my case. But I was young. I wasn't worried about not making money. I knew I'd always be able to make money. Well, 7 years into my career, I was 31 years old. My wife was pregnant for our second son. I was working through the summer of 2002, and I would get this lower back pain. And I told my wife after the baby was born, I would go to a doctor and see what's going on. So my son was born in October of that year. And 4 days after he was born, I went to a doctor's appointment. They said they couldn't believe I was still alive. I said, what do you mean? They said, you have an aortic dissection, which is turned into an aneurysm. And if it bursts, you'll die instantly. I was devastated, but my mindset was I was more worried about losing my job than I was of dying. So I had a major surgery. Obviously, it was a success. I'm here talking to you today, but I ended up out of work for a year, and it was a long road of recovery. And I learned some hard life lessons during that year. Number one, I took for granted I was getting up every day and I was going to be healthy and have a job. And number two, I was living beyond my means, and I wasn't worried about it until it was too late. So there I was, drowning in debt, trying to get out, and I was able to come back to the firehouse. Unfortunately, I had to get another part-time job, so I went back to driving tractor trailer part-time. And that's what I was doing for the next 3 years, and I was foolish enough to get back on a roof. I fell off the roof head first, 10 feet, broke my wrist badly. I was out of work for another 4 months, tried to make extra money, went deeper in the hole. Come back to the firehouse, go back to truck driving, and like many people, I threw my hands in the air and said, I guess this is the way it's going to be. And I was just working a lot. I was working at the firehouse. I was driving tractor trailer, wasn't making enough money to get out of debt, and I was never home to see my wife and kids. And January of 2009, I got off shift from the fire department after a snowstorm that night before, and my crew was going snowmobiling, so I decided to go. Sounded like a good idea, and it didn't turn out so well. About 10:30 at night, I hit a tree at over 50 miles an hour, almost killed myself again. And I was out of work for the third time, and that's when I was invited to take a look at Ambit. My union president called me up and said he was going to an Ambit presentation. He was invited by another union officer. Do you want to go? And I said, sure. I needed to make money. So we went to the presentation, sat through this PowerPoint presentation, and just like I'm sure most of the people on this webinar right now, I looked at all the information. I was very skeptical. It looked too good to be true. I was, like I said, I was raised by blue collar workers who definitely instilled that in my brain that if it looks too good to be true, it must be. Now I joke whoever come up with that idea probably died broke. But anyways, I took in all the information after the presentation. What dropped my guard was one of the guys presenting stood in front of the room and said he's an attorney for the state of New York. I was like, okay, this guy's doing this, interesting. So after the presentation, I went over to this guy, asked him all the questions I had. He answered them. And he said, listen, my associates and I spent 3 weeks researching this company before I put my name on it. I wasn't going to risk my career for some gimmick. If you like what you see, you should get going right away. This is going to be big. Of course, I went home. I made the first mistake a lot of people make in this business. I tried to explain it to my wife, and that didn't go over so well. Back in 2009, those of you who don't know, the investment was a lot more money. It was $429 instead of a one-time fee of $75. And we were broke. And my wife said, no way, not because she doesn't understand you got to spend money to make money. We just didn't have the money. But I did have room on my credit card, and I went ahead and got started without telling her. So I joked that my first goal, or why, if you will, was to make my money back before my wife got her credit card statement. And I did that. I made $700 my first 2 weeks in the business, and I was all in after that. I was just like ignorance on fire. I ended up enrolling 32 customers in my first week and had sponsored 2 consultants by the end of my first week. And I was off and running. I was excited about it. The team was starting to grow. My income was starting to grow, and I worked through I started in 2009. So 10 months in, I surpassed my truck driving income. So I quit driving truck. Then 2010, on a part-time basis as a senior consultant, I made more money in Ambit Energy part-time than I made as a full-time firefighter. But I wasn't going to walk away from my job. I fought too hard to keep it. I stayed there, ended up going out of work one more time. I broke my ribs at a leather mill fire, and every time I went out of work, it was in 3-year increments. So 2015, I was on eggshells. But I ended up completing my career. I retired from the fire department. We have a 20-year retirement with my pension and health insurance, which I'm grateful for. But I would have had to go get another job if it weren't for Ambit Energy. I was able to not only retire myself at 45 years old, but I retired my wife at 43 years old, and we don't work for anybody anymore. And, I think everybody here understands the current situation that we're all going through. We're on a webinar because we can't even get together with people. But in 2009, when I started, we were in a recession and people were struggling to make ends meet. And, over 7 years part-time, I became the 39th millionaire in Ambit Energy while I was still working. So the reason I bring this up about the timing is, think about 3 months ago where we were at. The economy was bustling. People weren't concerned, but I had been preaching to people for months that, you can't take for granted that the economy is always going to be this good. You got to put things into place now just in case. And nobody would have ever predicted this happening, but 3 months into the year, the whole world is shut down. And I think the long trickle down effect of what's happening is it's gonna last for a while. I think the economy will come back, but I'm not sure how fast the jobs are gonna come back. There's gonna be a lot of small businesses that go out of business because of this. So we have a way to help people. I've never looked at this as trying to convince somebody to do something. In any business, there's an investment. It's usually thousands to tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, depending on what it is. And I don't know about all of you, but I didn't have thousands, let alone hundreds of thousands, to start any kind of business. I barely had enough money to start this Ambit business, but it turned into something special. And I'm nothing special other than I believe in what I'm doing. I treat it like a real business. I show up every single day and do something with this business. And because of that, never taken part in a network marketing business before, I've gone from marketing consultant to national consultant. And I just know that if I can do it, anyone can do it. But it really comes down to being laser focused, no distractions, and having goals. I know there's a lot of people on here that are working real hard to promote to different levels, whether it be regional, senior, executive, and even national. You know, people are working towards their goals. And what's beautiful about our business is it really is servant leadership. Nobody can get anywhere in this business without helping other people get where they want to go. And you have a great team of people here that will help you get where you want to go. It's exciting times. You know, what you didn't see in that video is back in November of 2019, we were acquired by a company called Vistra Energy. And at first that could seem a little scary, and it was for me as much as anybody else, but it turned into some, I mean, just in this situation we're in right now, it made things real clear to me that we have security and long-term sustainability, because Vistra is a $13+ billion company, the largest generation company in North America. And they bought Ambit Energy, the #1 direct seller of energy in the world, who was one of only 2 companies in the Global 100, which recognizes the top direct selling companies in the world. One of only 2 in the top 10 to show increased revenue over last year. We were a $1.3 billion company, and that put us at #10 direct selling company in the world. So you have the #1 generation company with the #1 direct seller of energy, and you know, you're in the right place at the right time. So, you know, if you're a guest on here, I always say you're either an A, B, or a C person. If you're a C person, you don't see this like we do, and you know, nothing wrong with that. What I would suggest is that the person that thought enough to share the information with you, if you can, meaning if you live in a market where Ambit provides service and you're not yet a customer, consider supporting their business. You know, we talk about supporting local. Well, each one of us as independent contractors is a local business owner, and you'd be supporting your friend that invited you on here, and try the service for yourself. And maybe down the road, you'll see value in what we're doing. If you're a B person, you're like I was. I swear to this day, if we walked out the door after that presentation, I probably would have ended up bankrupt, because I wouldn't have got my questions answered, and I would have gone home and talked myself out of this opportunity like many people do. But that didn't happen. Thank God. I went over and asked the guy talking all the questions I had. He answered them, and I was pretty fired up about it. Nervous, I'm not going to lie. I had never done anything like this before. I was fearful that people were going to save, you know, whether or not people were going to save money. And I was fearful that this was even real. You know, now the company will turn 14 years old in August. We were just purchased by a $13+ billion company. So security is definitely there. And I think the best is yet to come. I think what we're looking at right now is over the next 6 to 12 months, we're going to have a massive explosion in this company of growth, because there's going to be a lot of people looking. There's 6.6 million people out of work right now, and it's climbing every day. You know, again, scary times, but we have a way to help people. We just got to get this in front of the right people that see it like we do. And that would make you an A person. If you're on here tonight and you see this like we do, whoever invited you on here can help you get started today. And there's a sweet little promotion going on. You saw some of the numbers. I'll go over this with you real quick. So we have a one-time investment of $75. And then there's a $24.95 per month website fee. This is a paperless business. I do everything on my cell phone for the most part. And I like that. I'm not very organized. I like the idea that everything is kept track in our back office that we pay $24.95 a month for. To me, it's priceless. So let's call your investment $100. With the current promotion, you go out and you gather 3 customers, 3 accounts, and your website, you're going to earn your $100 investment back. You get a 4th customer, you're going to make a $50 or 50% profit, if you will. And if you get a 5th customer, you're going to double your investment. And normally we have 28 days to do that. They even extended the time frame, which I think is a great thing to do during a time like this. They extended it out 14 more days to 42 days to go out and get 5 customers and double your investment. And that's a pretty sweet deal. And I have lots of stories of free energy. Myself, my wife, and I, over the last 11 years, we've received about $8,000 in free gas and electricity credits. And where I live, it comes in the form of a check. I always joke that my wife gets those checks, and I'm pretty sure she's not paying our energy bill with them. She's getting her hair done or her nails done or whatever the case may be. And, I've got a small business owner similar to Tom's story, a gentleman who owns a convenience store, a corner store where they also have a deli and serve pizza and groceries and all that stuff. And his free energy checks are anywhere from $300 to $850 a month. And like Tom said, think about all the small business owners that we could help just by showing them how they can get free energy. Business people, their business is based on, referrals as well. And they understand that, being kind to people as you're doing business with them pays off. Well, they've built up relationships their whole life. Now we can show them an opportunity where we can help them during tough times like this. So, but I'm super excited about the future of this company. It's a incredible opportunity. The last thing I'll leave you with is, you heard a lot about the residual income. And before Ambit Energy, I didn't know what residual income was. But, we're getting paid residual income on a public utility. And let's be honest, people are addicted to it. We can't live without it. We don't unplug our refrigerator. We don't turn off the heat to save money. It's just something that we can't live without. Heaven forbid your cell phone isn't charged, right? But, that's what I would tell you is there's lots of network marketing companies out there, lotions, potions, pills, whatever, and a lot of good products. I'm not going to badmouth the products, but at the end of the day, I've been having a lot of conversations with people who are cutting extras out of their budget right now in preparation for perhaps a long run out of work. So they're cutting all the extras out now. Well, we have an incredible opportunity to save people money on a bill they can't live without and show people how to make money. And I'm excited about it. And I appreciate all of you having me on here. And I look forward to seeing some of these faces promoting to their next level that they're working towards. I'll turn it back over to you, Frank.
Hey, thanks, Kirk. I really appreciate the, taking the time to be on here. So I know, you're talking about a lot of your story and a lot of your injuries and the time it took off and things like that. And, I know we kind of talked a little bit, before this meeting about how, we've got some team members that are dealing with some similar issues, and didn't know if you wanted to touch on them or not. Or
Absolutely. Yeah. So Andy's on here, and it's an incredible story. We all work hard. Rick, I think we're getting background from you. We all work hard to, at careers and such, and we plan to go down a path that we think is going to be the best path for our families. And I heard about Andy's story, how he left the corporate America at a young age, financially well off or in good position anyways. And, he invested in the community, and all of a sudden you get some heartbreaking news, and, you get diagnosed with cancer. And, I think it was Tom was talking about a willable business. And I will share this with you, tie it into, what's going on with Andy, and, definitely keep praying for him that, everything turns out all right. But my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and she was a senior consultant in Ambit Energy, and she willed it to my two boys. So it is a willable business. You're building a legacy for your family. And I'll even go a step farther and share a story of a friend of mine who was an executive consultant in Ambit, and he got in some trouble with the tax man, more or less. And he ended up selling his Ambit business for $150,000 because he had to pay back the IRS. So it is a willable, sellable business for sure. And, Andy's story is this entire business is about stories. And, that's the stuff that fuels my fire. When I hear stories like his, I don't even know him, and I want to help him succeed in this business. And that's what it's about. The culture in Ambit is like nothing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, people that don't know you, have no financial gain from helping you in any way, will do anything to help you succeed, because if we all succeed, the company succeeds, and we all have a long-term interest in that happening, right?
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Kirk. I really do. Yeah, I love the line about, this whole business is about stories. Everything's built on stories. We've all got our own background, own attributes to bring to the table, and that's what makes this company so great. So,
absolutely. And there's a lot of people with strong faith in this business, and I definitely believe in the power of prayer. And so definitely want to keep Andy in our prayers.
Absolutely. All right,
Thanks,
this
appreciate
time.
it. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna unmute everybody in case we have there's any questions, for Kirk or anybody else on here. So, all right. Does anybody have any questions?
There's about $30,000 a year. So it's about $120,000.
Don't be shy, guys. I can take it.
The thing I would like to add in, just like Kirk was saying, was, I've been a part of great teams my whole life. I mean, now I'm the Olympic coach and in charge of our freestyle team for wrestling. And the thing about this business is it's all about team. It's all about people helping people and helping people move forward. And as a coach, I can help people on the wrestling mat. I can help them be better athletes. I can help them hopefully be better people. The thing I can never help them at is being better financially. And here's a way that we can save people money, and by doing that, we can help people financially have security for the rest of their lives. And that's really a huge thing for me. And the team approach to it, that people are always out here willing to help and be a part of your team and help people understand the business is like no team I've ever been around. And I've been around great teams, but like Kirk said, it has such a different culture to it than most anything I've ever been involved in.
Thanks, Terry. All right. So if anybody else has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and make sure you ask now.
Well, I'll say this to everyone. I hope and pray that everybody, remains working or gets back to work soon. I talked about it, but at a job, they tell you how much you're worth, what days you get off, when you get vacations, and most of us are going to work through the best years of our life and hope that your body is still functioning at the end. And my passion is not electricity and gas, I promise you. My passion is that we have a true vehicle to help people create a different lifestyle. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not get rich quick. Anybody looking for get rich quick, this is not it. I promise you that. But they pay us lots of money along the way to build up that residual income. And, it's a good feeling knowing that you're leaving something, a legacy for your family. And best statement I ever heard was, what is generational wealth is when your kids have a picture of you on the mantle. So let's all create generational wealth.
Awesome. Appreciate it. So, make sure you go ahead and get with the person that invited you to this call, and follow up with any additional questions or let them know that you're ready to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.